Wrap the week with a little notion or anecdote or glimpse into my brain and why I'm a bearish kind of guy. This is AMAT, okay? And I'm not bearish to the point where I'm some psycho that thinks the market's going to crash every day. I know it doesn't. I know it's a club. But I also know it's 150 stocks out of the 12,000 that control the entire market. Most stocks suck. Most IPOs are dog shit. Most stocks have a shelf life, and most stocks will inevitably go to zero. Or something like AMAT, which I'm a fan of. It's been a great stock over the last 20 years, right? But let's assume you bought it in January and you top ticked it. Again, I'm making an assumption here. So let's say you've said, oh, look, it's breaking 200, you're in. Next thing you know, it tanks almost 50%. And then it finally rallies back to get to you to break even. And then it falls apart again. It finally rallies back just so you can break even. And then you needed this monumental, absolute crazy rally just to get something out of it. So you were in the stock for an entire year and you were up 40 points. And then you held it into earnings and it gave it all back. Then fast forward to what we do for a living. We come in and we see it down on earnings. And we understand we're in a bull market and stocks don't like to go down. So on the earnings report, I have a trade that has worked now 1,056 times in a row, real number, 1,056 times in a row when this setup arises. Now this is AMAT, a stock that you may have held for the last year. And you were up 40 points, and then it gave back all 40, and then you walked in today. Basically, right back to where you bought it a year ago. So if you bought it back today, this is what we call the fake out, shake out, VWAP break. This red candle right here was an anomaly candle. That candle happened in the pre-market, which tells you that the stock is going to go up. Now, I know that sounds conspiratory, but it's true. The market's rigged. The market's rigged to price. The market's pre-programmed. So the market's programmed, the market's rigged, and the market's revolving around volume weighted average price. So when we had the anomaly print, that was our heads up, but this orange line also tells us that's the nearest algorithmic area of price discovery that this stock will get if there's some upward momentum. And then within a few minutes of the open, we had the upward momentum. So the fake out, shake out, we're buying the stock right here at 206. Let's just call it 206. It was actually 206.40, but let's round it off to 207, okay? And our target was the orange line, which was up there at 220. So 207 to 220 is 13 points. So instead of owning the stock for a year, we owned the stock for about 45 minutes and made basically the same amount of money as a person that owned the stock for a year. This is why I'm a bear. I don't need to own stocks to make money in the market. I just need to play the blatant rigging and the manipulation of the market that we're in. And right now, because the market never goes down, you're looking to buy stocks of quality, and AMAT's a quality stock, when they're gapped down on earnings, because people look for those discounts and the buys on dips. But most importantly, when you break through VWAP, you tend to get to prior day VWAP. And with this trade on a 13-point trade, you also could have been buying the at-the-money options to add to your percentage gain. And generally what we're doing is we're buying at-the-money options. So we went with the 212.50s because I missed the 210s. And the 212.50s right around here were $2. They went to 12. I didn't hold till 12, but I sold at 4 and I sold some at 6. And then I was out of the trade. But seriously, that's a 200, 300% gain right there on the same trade. So just on this trade alone, not only did you make more money than the shareholder has made in a year, but you trounced the shareholder by hundreds and hundreds of percent. I'll never own a stock ever again in my life. There is no need. I remain bearish. I think we are in a bubble, but it doesn't matter. If the market never goes down, it doesn't matter because you'll find these opportunities every earnings season. We're at 1,156 of these in a row from the last 4 years. Not one trade has failed. Not one. you should start learning about the faux show bro VWAP break on earnings reports, the multi-day VWAP, and start believing in these anomaly prints, because we're seeing stocks go to these prints more often than not now. There's definitely something to it. Have a great weekend, and I hope you guys crushed it on this AMAT trade.